Welcome back to my hospital room. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable donuts with icing dripping along the edge, and the best part is the wool is not wasted underneath the icing. So it's a great way to save wool and end up with super cute donuts. So for this pattern we're going to begin with the cake part of the donut, or the brown base. So to start, you're just going to chain 12. So start with just a slip stitch, and then chain 12. So next you're going to connect both ends to make a ring, and you're going to do increase single crochet all the way around. So you're going to put your hook underneath 2 bars of the V, and then you're going to just do a single crochet, and then we're going to do a second single crochet in that same stitch, and then again I'm gonna just do a single crochet in the next stitch. So I'm gonna go underneath 2 loops, and I'm going to continue this all the way around for a total of 18 stitches. For round 2, you're going to do increase. So just start by doing 1 single crochet, then put your stitch marker in, and then do a second single crochet in that same stitch, and then in the next 2 stitches just do a single crochet in each. Continue this pattern all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. Begin round 4 with an increase. Remember to put your stitch marker in so you don't lose your spot, and go around and around and around. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And that's the pattern for this round, and you should end with a total of 30 stitches. For the next 3 rounds, you're just going to do a single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total of 30 single crochets. Grab your icing color, so I've chosen pink. You can use any color you'd like, and repeat the exact same steps in the pink. We are not finished the donut in the brown yet, so don't cut your yarn. Just continue working in the pink, and then we have an addition to add onto each one. So now that you've finished this same pattern in 2 colors, one for your cake, your donut, one for the icing, go back to the cake part. Now you're going to do 2 additional rounds of 30 single crochets. So just a single crochet in each stitch for a total of 30. So to end off your brown, do a slip stitch, and then cut a really long tail. We need a tail long enough to sew the 2 middle parts of the donut together. So now put your donut base aside, and now get back to your icing. So you're going to start by doing a slip stitch. This is to make the scallop. So slip stitch. Then in the second single crochet, you're going to do a single crochet and then a half double crochet. So wrap around, go under, and pull through all 3 loops. In your third single crochet, you're going to do a double crochet. In the fourth, you're going to do a half double crochet. and a single crochet. And then in the 5th, you're going to do a slip stitch. So in total, each scallop takes 5 single crochets. That's how long they are. And repeat this pattern and you're going to end up with 6 little drips of icing. So once your 6 drips of icing are done, you're just going to cut a really long tail. This one should be even longer than the brown tail because we have to sew all the way around the whole icing. So cut it, and then both parts of your donut are ready and we're ready to assemble. So the first step before we put the 2 centers together is to flip them inside out. So it should have this weird looking pattern, both of them. Don't need my stitch marker now. There we go. And next what you're going to do is we're going to stitch the 2 centers together like so. This is going to be done using this brown tail. But before we do that, we have sort of these 2 tails in the middle from when we started. So we want to first get rid of those. And to do that, you're just going to put them inside this is the back side of the donut, so you're going to put it on the back side. So I'm just going to push through to the back, poke through, then maybe poke it up here, just so it'll be secure and out of the way from the nice side. And I'm going to repeat the same thing. You can just leave it long or trim it a bit, it's up to you. Repeat this with the center tail for the pink one as well. So now grab your brown tail that is where we cut it and finished off, and you're going to work it all the way down to the middle. So I'm just going to go down. This is the back of your donut, so it doesn't have to look perfect. Just sort of go through. There we go. And I'm going to work my way down, going under the occasional string. So now that I'm down here, I'm going to, you may notice that there are little sort of bubbles here. Those are what we're going to stitch together. So I'm going to go underneath one of these and then out through a bubble on my icing. So I'm going to start there. Okay, so that is my first stitch. Then I'm going to go back into the brown again. So the bubble next to it and of the pink. You want to pull it tight, then go under the brown and then the pink. You're going to continue this all the way around until your 2 middles are completely sewn together. So once your 2 middles are connected, you're just going to sew this up through, again, this is the back, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect, but this is just my end that I use to sew them together. Just poke it up through some of the stitching. You can trim it, but you don't have to trim it right down because it will just end up inside the donut. Now let's move on to the icing. Now it's time to decorate your donut. So grab whatever color you want your sprinkles in, poke it through the back side of the wool, and pull through. Don't pull through all the way though, because we need to tie it off at the end. Then you're going to make your sprinkles. So they can be however big or small you want them to be. I think about 1 row high is a good size, like that. Now I'm just going to poke out where you want your next sprinkle to be. Feel free to get creative with your color choices, like adding lots of different colors to make it sort of a rainbow sprinkle, or just one color, as I'm doing with this one. And you can always, this is sort of a trick to make it go faster. Instead of poking it out and then poking it in, poke it where you want your next sprinkle to be. Like so. So once you've finished adding your sprinkles, whether of one color or of many colors, you're just going to tie the 2 ends together underneath. So I'm just going to do a triple knot. You won't see this knot, so it doesn't matter that you're knotting it, but it'll help it stay secure, and then you can just trim these ends so they don't get in the way. And next, we have to assemble our donut and actually stitch down the icing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my hook through the V of the pink. Now this is one of the ones you can see where I did a slip stitch because it's the lowest point of the drip. So I'm going to go through half the front loop of the V of my base, and I'm always going to do that when I have the single or the slip stitch part, the lowest part. So now I'm going to go through half of it and back up through my slip stitch. And next I'm going to grab a piece of the stitching and poke it through. So that would be my single crochet that I just did. And we want it to be on the outside of the donut, so up there, because that's where the drip goes. It's gonna look like this. If you want to make it a bit easier for yourself, you could always put a safety pin in and then it would stay like that, or you can just hold it like this. So now I'm just gonna grab another piece, the stitching, poke it through part of my scallop, see, and pull it tight. So as you can see, that's how it looks. And now I'm going to grab a piece from up high for the tip of my scallop. Let's see, maybe there. And once you've done your first scallop and it's all sewn down, then would be a good time to begin stuffing and sort of continue stuffing as you go along, after each scallop adding a bit more. So as you can see, my next 2 stitches are the slip stitches again, so then I'm going to go through the half of the V and then through the slip stitch, and then half the V and through the slip stitch. So now that I've stitched down my first scallop, I'm just going to put my stuffing in. So I'm just going to poke it through with my finger to sort of puff up my donuts. This is the fun part because it starts to come together and you see it's almost done. That looks good for now. And after I finish the second scallop, then I'll continue to add more stuffing. So to end off, just put your hook through the pink stitching and then into the cake of the donut again, and poke it out somewhere. So I'm just gonna do it up there. Nice and tight. There we go. Pull it through. And I'm just gonna poke it through one more time just to make sure it doesn't come undone. Just out here. There we go. And once we do the final snip, your donut is done. I hope you were able to follow along and successfully make one of these adorable donuts. See you in the next video!